Hello, crew. How is everybody today? To my Aussie friends, I hope you had an awesome long weekend. We went out to the farm and with some friends. It's nice to be able to be in the company of friends, at the moment. So with all the COVID restrictions, so we're allowed to be around human beings again, which is nice. So this is my first live video of the week. So if you are unaware, I go live 5 times a week and give you free value over that time. In the very first video of the week, I talk about something to do with personal development and personal growth. So today is that day, and I want to share with you something that I see lots of people get hung up on. And when I say lots of people, people building in the online world, students that I mentor, even people in my coaching community, when we're building a business online, it can get very complicated. I'm sure you'll agree. There's lots of moving parts. And there are some people that come up with a lot of excuses as to why they haven't done certain things. Not sure if that's you or not, but there's something that's come up a bit in the last few weeks from some of the students that I've been mentoring, and I just want to share it with you today because it's really important to your growth. So I'm a big believer, and you would have, if you've hung around here for a while, you would have heard me say multiple times that the online world takes a lot of skill. There's lots of things that we can do from, Facebook marketing, Facebook advertising, going live. There's lots of skills that you can learn. But unless you've got it going on up here, unless you believe in yourself and you're not full of excuses and all those kind of things, like, you've got to make it happen. The skills aren't going to make it happen. You need them. You need the skills, but you're the one that's either going to make it happen or not. So I hear a lot of excuses from some people, and I just want to share something with you that I see some people focus on, and I just hope this isn't you, okay? And if it is you, then I just want to share some advice with you about how to shift it. Okay, so if we haven't met before, my name is Helen Martin. I'm your online crew captain. This is just all a little bit of fun here because we have the most amazing online crew community here, full of entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, direct sellers, those in network marketing, MLM, etc. And what we're here to do is learn to leverage social media with we want modern online strategies to build our business. And when we do that, we can attract people to us, which is a far nicer way to build your business than convincing people that what you've got is the best thing and they need to buy your stuff or they need to join you in your business, all of those kind of things. We don't want to chase anybody to buy anything off us or join us in our business. We truly want to attract people to us. Do you agree? Is that a nicer way to build your business? I hope you think that is the case. So before I get into the topics for today, I'm just going to say hello to a few people. So who do we have here? Hello, Crystal. How are you? Good to see you here, life member of our coaching community, as is Gloria. How are you, Gloria? Did you have a lovely weekend? Hope you and the family are well and you joined your weekend at the farm. We did. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad a weather. It's winter now here in Australia, so, going out to the farm in winter can be a little bit cold, but it was quite nice. Hello, Mike. How are you? Anybody that's appearing like that, it just means you need to give StreamYard permission for me to see who you are. So I'm broadcasting in 2 different places. One on my business page, which is completely public, and I can see who you guys are. Some of you may be watching from my free group, which is called Social Media Strategies for Home Business Owners. If you are new to that group, there's a link right at the bottom of the description in the group. You won't see it on the page. It's just in the group. And it says StreamYard.com/Facebook. And if you just click on that link, then I'll be able to see who you are. It's just because it's in a group. Hello, Jocelyn. Good to see you here. We've got Monica as well. Hello, Olive. Lovely to see you here. Ford, I'm glad you had a relaxing time after all the hard work you do. Thank you, Ford. It's just bliss, I tell you, sitting around the campfire, with friends, having a few drinks. There was no wind, so it was cold, but it's just lovely. Hello, Cindy. How are you? We've just been on a 2-hour call with all our VIPs, Cindy included. So amazing call, guys. Thanks for all your input for that. Hello, Jacinta, new life member to our coaching community, which is cool. Hello, Janet. Great to see you on. We've got Megan, so all the VIPs are here after our call. Hello, Tina. Doing well, thank you. And Judy and Bob, back after the long weekend. Absolutely. Hello, Tammy. We've got Beth. Oh, hi, Helen. It's been so long, Laurie. Like 5 minutes ago. Hi, Edith. Great to see you here. Crystal, I went live today, even though I didn't feel like it. No excuses. Good to hear. That's what we like to hear. Hi, Anya. How are you? We've got Adita. I told you to go to bed, woman. She's listening in from the UK at some terrible hour of the morning. She was just on our VIP call. You're just a trooper, Adita. Hello. Hey, Eileen. How are you? Good to see you here. We've got Rick as well. A wet Newcastle, is it? Attracting dangerous women. Very funny. Andrea, you're driving. Oh, you shouldn't be typing if you're driving. Hello, Dolores. It was lovely to see you here. I was just catching up with last week's replays. Cool. We had summer last week here in Utah, and on Friday we changed to winter. Oh, really? The weather's all over the place then, I gather. Hello. So we've got I here as well as Charm. We've got Aldith, who was on our call just a minute ago as well. I interviewed Alan today. Did you? I'll have to watch that. That sounds like fun. We've got Bridget here as well. So as usual, welcome, Bridget. And we got Karen here as well. I could say hello to you guys forever, but I better get onto the content. So at the beginning of the week, those of you that have been around for a while, you do know that I speak about something to do with personal development or personal growth, because it's really a huge part of the equation of you being successful, particularly in the online world and anything to do with sort of entrepreneurialism. Did I say that right? Being an entrepreneur is because you don't have somebody standing behind you telling you what to do. You don't have a nice little written out job description saying this is what you need to do today and tomorrow and all the rest of it, and you know exactly what you're doing every day. Being an entrepreneur, working in the online world, network marketing can be very confusing, and it takes a lot of responsibility. And unfortunately, we have this thing called life. You know what that is? With other people, distractions. There's lots of things that can take your attention away from what you're meant to be doing. But as an entrepreneur, unless we prioritize what we're meant to be doing for ourselves, everybody else gets out of us what they want, except what you wanted to achieve for yourself, because it's completely, wholly, solely up to you. So what I hear a lot from people on calls with students that I mentor is things like, this happened, or these people came and visited, or I'm just not sure about this. I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I do need to make some changes, but last week this happened. You know, I'm really struggling because of what happened last week with XYZ, and I just really don't know what to do. I'm a little bit stuck. You know, I'll get back on track next week. It's just because what happened in the last month, like I was just so busy, and, you know, my family needed me, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. What do we call those things, guys? What is all of that? When you justify the reason that you haven't done something, and you say all those kind of things, what are those things called? Somebody tell me, what are those things called that people throw at me as to the reason that they haven't done something? Oh, here we go. Excuses, distractions. Anya, that's my problem now, life and distractions. And this is one of the worst things. Excuses, awesome. Is it, Crystal? Excuse you guys got it. It's all excuses. And you can believe your own excuses. What troubles me the most is when those excuses keep going on. And there are certain people in the online world that are in the same spot weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years, in the same pattern because they actually believe their own excuses. Now, there's one that I want to hone in on that people get stuck on. And this is what I hear a lot. It's big, and people do get hung up on this. And that is something that has happened yesterday. or something that happened last week, or something that happened last month. I didn't rank advance. I didn't get the leads I was looking for. I didn't get the interaction on my lives, last week. Like, it's just not happening for me. So there's all these kind of, well, they're just excuses. You can't label it any other way, but it's based on things that have happened previously. So people often, and you may not even recognize this, guys, but a lot of people they hinder their progress on what's happened in the past. So what happened or didn't happen last week? What happened or didn't happen last month? I was just really busy last month because we had visitors. Or I just, I was sick and I couldn't do it. Or it's something that's already happened in the past, but they bring it into sort of excuses now. What I want to make really clear is, if things aren't going your way, you don't like where you're at for some reason, that generally means something needs to change. Would you agree with that? That if you're not happy with the progress of where you're at, then something needs to change. Does that make sense? Just, there needs to be change, because if you keep going on the same path, you get the same results. And if those results aren't what you want them to be, then something needs to change. Make sense? So here's a question for you. When does change actually happen? When does change actually happen? So you know that you're stuck in something, you're making excuses, you procrastinate, you're letting life get in the way, and you know something needs to change. When does that change need to happen? Today? Tomorrow? Future? Next week? When does change happen? I want to see who can get this. So, yeah, something needs to change every day. Okay. When you decide it needs to change. Yeah, that's good. We need to change. Change happens when I make it happen. So when do you want to make it happen? Okay. Now. Well, yes, good point, Mary, when we get out of our own way. But for you to change anything now, when pain is too painful, well, hopefully before that, Winston, but yes, that can affect change. You want to shift quickly and add on to that now. Okay? So change does not happen, well done, guys, straight away. Change your mindset now. Change doesn't happen next week. Change doesn't happen. Can you change the future? Think about that for a minute. Can you change the future? What do you think? Yes or no? Want to see what you guys think. So it must happen now, right now, to get out of the comfort zone. Change doesn't happen when you're not sick and tired enough of the things that aren't happening. So Monica said you can change the future. Janice says you can. Olive said no. Anya, yes. Tammy, yes. Adita, yes. Keep it coming, guys. Sure you can. Yes, you can change your future. Yes. Yes, manipulator. No, you can influence it only. Mary, yes. No, yes. We've got a real mixed bag here, guys. So let's just think about that a little bit more. Can you change the future? When does change happen? When did majority of you just tell me when change happens? So I'm looking into next week. Can I change what happens next week? So some of you will probably think, well, yeah, you can. Has next week happened yet? How do I know what to change if it hasn't happened yet? You can't, like Laurie said, you can't change the future because it hasn't even happened yet. You don't even know what you need to change. We are not there yet. You can't change the future because we haven't even been there yet. You can influence it. You can make conscious decisions to change which direction you're going to go, but you can't affect change in the future because the future hasn't happened yet. So back to my point, when does change happen? Now. So listen to your own excuses. And my point around all of this is people get really hung up on this. Last month was a bad month. I was busy last month. Or because of what happened last month or the month before. When you think like that, you are letting the past dictate what you're going to do in the future. And something needs to change. But the only way you can affect change, guys, is now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, not next week, now. So if you are in a position where you are not happy where you're at, you need to make decisions now. You can plan for the future, but change happens now. So, excuse me, I've been talking for hours. Little frog in my throat there. So, when you want to make change, don't give in to your excuses and realize you have a choice with everything. When you tell yourself, oh, well, last week was, I'm still getting over last week, or I was sick last month or something like that, that you are making a choice to stay now in what happened in the past. Am I making sense? Are you making sense of what I'm trying to share here with you? I speak to a lot of students that give me so many excuses, but it's all related on something that happened in the past. But they bring that into the now, and they're making excuses now as to why they haven't done what they were meant to do. So you may not realize it sometimes, but some of you are choosing to stay stuck and you don't even realize it, because you're so caught up in what's happened in the past. Who cares what happened in the past? Who cares whether you've been successful or not up until this point? You can make a change today to change that. It doesn't matter what happened even an hour ago. You'll have memories and influences from things that happened in the past. But when you are telling yourself your excuses, you are choosing them. Everything is a choice. Things may happen that, are impact, and, somebody may hurt you and you may cry. An accident may happen that you can't control. Like, things can happen that are beyond your control, but you choose how they affect you. Some people are so resilient when things go wrong, and it's like, okay, that's not an ideal situation, but I'm going to pick myself up and move on as fast as I possibly can, and I'm going to be a problem solver, not wallow in what's gone wrong in the past. You choose your direction, guys. Which direction do you want to go? But I want to highlight the choices are now. Now is the only time you can change. The diet doesn't start next Monday. The diet starts now. Like, you can plan for those things given, but what I'm trying to highlight here is the choices that you make in your own head that you don't even realize that you're making, and the excuses that you give into yourself from things that have happened in the past. And too many, I've seen students stuck for months because of things that have happened in the past. And they're still using that as excuses as to why they can't change now. But it's a choice. You choose to stay stuck, or you choose to move forward. And I was sharing with those in the VIP program just earlier. We've just been on a 2-hour call, and we were talking about being stuck and stuff like that. And, there are various times in my business that I just don't want to do it anymore. The demands are too much. The more people you connect with, the bigger your communities grow, the more groups you have, the more things that you do, and I spread myself pretty thin. There's a lot of people sometimes at you drawing and vying for your attention, and sometimes I can't keep up. Sometimes I want to put my hand in the air and go, I give up. I want the simpler life back. This is too much. But what I've learned to do over time is shift really quickly. That's what you need to learn to do if you're going to be successful in the online world. You are going to have things that pop up that are not going to go your way. There are things that you're going to do that you consider as failure. I would consider them as lessons. You might consider them as failures. So that's one way. It's all how you look at it and the choices that you make. I still have things that hit me that don't go well. I still have, things that go wrong that you guys would never know about, but because I pivot really quickly and I make a change now, not next week or not while we're in it for, days on end, is how can I pivot now? So the quicker you can learn to pivot, the quicker you can recognize when you're still concentrating on the past, the better off that you will be, because everything is a choice. Sometimes you don't think it is, but check in what's going on up here, because you will talk yourself into anything. You will talk yourself into the excuses unless you have an awareness of, I'm making excuses again for what happened last week or what happened last month or what happened 6 months ago. I'm still caught up in that. How do I pivot? What choice do I need to make right now? So remember, change doesn't happen from the past. Change doesn't even happen in the future because we're not even there yet. You can influence it, but you can't change it. So here, now, decide where you're at and what you need, what choices you need to make the changes to move forward. So it's really recognizing what's going on up here. This will make you or break you. As I said, I speak to students that can be stuck for months. And they're stuck in the past for months. And it's sad because it's actually a choice. They don't think it's a choice because they feel unfairly done by. But, and it's more common than you think, unfortunately, but it's totally in their control to shift. You are totally in your control to shift the direction of where you're headed, where you want to go, what you want to learn, what action you want to take. You're in the driver's seat, no one else. So I would, with all of these, whenever I sort of talk about this kind of stuff, it's having a real mental awareness of what you think about, the excuses that you tell yourself. And you have to want to change. If you don't want to change, then you're going to stay stuck. So just accept that you're going to stay stuck if you don't want to change. Does that make sense? But change only happens here and now, and you make it happen. No one else makes it happen. So think wisely when you are, analyzing whether you're successful or not. So, yes, Trent Sheldon says it all starts with you. People often will give excuses for their environment, their circumstances, other family, situations. They're all external to you. How you think, how you shift, how you pivot, how you become a problem solver, that's up to you guys. No one else can make that happen for you. Circumstances don't control your life, your thoughts do. So it's really important to take a good check-in with the way that you think. Bitterness and past experiences totally can bite you in the butt. And only one it affects is you. Yeah, but people buy into that. Some people have got terrible pasts, terrible things that have happened to them. And you can either let that dictate who you are and what you do and fill you with excuses, or you can make a choice to say that was the past. It doesn't define who I am now or what I can achieve moving forward. It's totally up to you. Have done that in the past, but this time I'm making a choice to pivot and change my outcome now. And sometimes your now doesn't show up for a bit. So brilliant Laurie, she's making a choice to pivot and change her outcome now. That's what it's all about. Gloria, I love this. I'm making good choices daily. And that's all you can expect of yourself. This is not putting pressure on ourselves to know the answers to anything. This is about really taking in check, like you can make choices today to change your life. It's actually a choice. It's not what's happening around you. It's not the circumstances. It's not where you live. It's not who you live with, all that kind of stuff. It's only you, your internal thoughts. So we just really need to have a high level of awareness, because you will believe your own excuses, and that doesn't help you change. I realize that, and have been doing a lot of work on myself lately to change this. Work in progress for sure. And it is. You can't listen to something like this and go, yep, I'm going to change my life now, and then there's no more work to be done. Like, it's something that you just really want to create new habits. Like I was sharing with the VIPs on our earlier call, I've learned, like, things still go wrong, and, you know, not everything goes according to plan in my life, but I've learned to pivot really quickly or become a problem solver. And I don't stew on things as much as I used to. Or if somebody else has got an issue, realizing what's actually their issue, it's not my issue to worry about. So really putting into perspective what I do and don't have control over. And if I do have control over something, then how do I pivot to find a solution for myself rather than staying stuck? Staying stuck is one of the worst things that you can do. So just realize that change happens now. I've changed my DMO. I've talked to over 50 people in the last 10 days. I've been doing time blocking, and I'm getting more things done. So that's being very consciously aware of what you have control over and what you can do to move your business forward. However, what we change today does change the vision of the future. Yeah, so we can influence it. We can't change it because we're not there yet. But yes, we can influence, the path of our future for sure. I tell myself I refuse to stay stuck or relive my past. I have to let it go and focus on the solution and not the problem. Yeah, because the past is only going to hold you back, and you can't change it. Things that you can't change, you don't want to focus on. You really don't, because it's just a waste of energy to focus on things you can't change. Focus on the things that you can change and do it now, okay? Michelle, our ability to pivot at this time will dictate how we show up on the other side of the current times we live in. Will dictate how we show up on the other side. Absolutely. So pivot quickly. Just try to learn to pivot quickly. Hey, Laurie, how are you? You only get out of it what you put into it. Yeah, absolutely. My counselor years ago asked me a question. Do you want to be a victim or do you want to be a survivor? True point. Victims live in the past. Victims, will keep relaying things of the past and let that mold them as who they are today. But you can make a choice right here, right now. Everything is a choice. So, very, very good question. Michelle, if there is only one thing that we are in control of, it is our choices. Yeah. And, just a final thought on that. Some of you don't realize, you don't think you have choices. You think the circumstances that you're in is the reason why things are happening to you. Nothing happens to you. You choose it. So if somebody on this live says something nasty to me, if I let that in and I absorb that, then I'm allowing that person to hurt me. It's my choice to be affected by that. Or I could just let it bounce off me and go, well, that's just the online world. There's going to be people out there that are going to do that all the time, and just not, like, it just literally bounces off me, which is what it does now. Like, I choose how I respond to that. Whatever happened, happened. I choose how I respond to things and how I pivot through it. So that's the important thing here. It's not what's happening around you. It's how you choose to deal with things. And if you know something needs to change, now is the time to make the change. So you can influence, your future. And that's right, Laurie, negativity draws negativity. So we don't want to focus on the things that happened in our past or the things that are holding us back, because guess what happens when we do that? We just get more of it and we stay stuck. Okay. So take from that whatever you will. Just realize the power that you have as an individual to pivot, the power that you have to make choices as to which direction you go, what you do, and be aware of some questions that I often say to you guys. What's working? What's not working? And what can I do differently if things aren't working? So the reason that we do that is to try to take the emotion. We are terrible when we're emotional. We make silly decisions. We overthink things, we stress, you worry and all those kind of things. So trying to take the emotion out of it and go, okay, what's working here? What's not working? And when, you know, you've assessed that, it's okay, what can I do differently to make whatever's not working work? So it's, you become into an evaluative, that's not quite the way you say it. How do you say it? I can't ask you how to say it because I'm the one doing the talking. Evaluate without, you know, so much emotion. So you make logical decisions instead of emotional decisions. Because have you ever been emotional and said something that you shouldn't have said in the moment and then you just can't take it back? Like being in the height of emotions, we don't necessarily say the right things or make the right decisions. So we need to evaluate in an unemotional state to try to shift through it. Okay. So we'll leave it on. Dolores, what have you said here? Beautiful words of wisdom. You are incredibly knowledgeable. Just finished with a client today teaching all about good choices and not going down the same rabbit hole. Easy and comfortable is what we'll know. That's very correct, Dolores. Thank you for your input there. Okay, so pivot, choices, now, all those kind of things. Just we can raise people's level of awareness of the fact that you do actually have more control than you think you do. You actually choose, make good choices and not so good choices. So just realize that you do have that power. You have more power over your life sometimes than you realize. Okay, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. Now, I'm pretty sure if you've made it this far in my video that I have another webinar in the morning. Let me just check. Well, my morning. That I do. So I will be an hour and a half earlier than this normal usual live time because of that webinar. So those of you that, you know, can adjust to that, and I will see you then. For those of you daytime in Australia, enjoy the rest of your day. And for those of you, if Adita is still on, now can you please go to bed? I don't know, it's about 2:30 in the morning or so in the UK. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.